Everybody in the whole wide world really just needs to chill.
I wanted to let you know that you're in my top 3 hosts that I truly admire and that really inspire me to try to be the best host that I can. With your company being Conan O'Brien and Dick Cavett.
Right,
Those are probably my top 3.
I don't know if but thank you.
Well, here's why. Because in my opinion, the 3 of you are just excel at making people feel comfortable. And that's something that I think I have somewhat of a knack for. And it's just something I've always respected, getting people to open up and really feel like they're talking to a friend, you know? So
thank you.
To follow up, though, I wanted to know what hosts were your biggest inspirations. And
when I was growing up, I was watching a guy called Dave Allen. Dave Allen he was an Irish guy who did a British show, an English show, and I think it was called Dave Allen at Large.
BBC, I'm guessing?
Yep.
Okay.
I was very young, and he used to basically go on and do really intense religious commentary, and he'd call out the church. And, you know, as a young kid, even when I was really young, I recognized that rebellion was where I was going to go. I didn't even have a word for it.
I can relate to that.
But I knew that was the thing,
yeah.
right? And you can relate. So
I put my parents through a bunch of shit.
Yeah, my
partying
mom.
And shit.
Yeah. So I just knew I was going to rebel. So Dave Allen was a big part. When I was a real young kid, it was Kermit the Frog watching the Muppet Show.
Hey, we got guns over here.
There you know.
That's my spirit animal.
He hosted the Wildest Show, right? He hosted the Wildest Show, you know, the Muppet Show, and all the madness behind the scenes. So I loved Kermit the Frog. That was when I was really young.
Definitely, I was going to say not the answer I was expecting.
Yeah, well, I mean, you know, but really my biggest influences in terms of what I do were Chuck D,
okay,
George Carlin, Joe Strummer, and Patti Smith. So it wasn't really TV hosting, because I actually, to be honest with you, never thought I was going to be on television. I never planned on being on television. I never wanted to be on television. I never thought about being on television.
You just thought the radio thing was...
Even that I didn't think I was going to be. I thought I was going to be an artist, an architect, a graphic designer, something like that. Visual art was my wheelhouse.
Yeah, you were telling us you used to draw comics and stuff.
And then I got booted out of art classes. The art teacher wouldn't let me take the classes anymore. And in order... I don't have any idea how the education system works now in Ontario in terms of credits, but back then I needed an arts credit to graduate. Oh. And the only 2 options we had were visual art and drama. And drama was the last class I wanted to take.
Really, eh?
Oh, I had no interest in it at all.
Interesting. Because to me, you're like somewhat of a performer, entertainer.
No, never was, man. Honestly, I was so caught up in music. That was music and motorcycles from my whole, life. That's all I really cared about. So I thought I could get a job as an overnight radio DJ, but drama never. The idea of being on stage was death to me.
Really?
Zero interest in it, yeah.
And the scripted part of it too, probably? You seem like someone who goes off script and likes to be kind of organic.
I don't want to. Scripts are like, I like scripts when I'm acting because I think it's fun to work with other people's art and help them see their vision through.
Fair enough, yeah.
But there are some radio stations where there's a person who writes the script that the DJ is going to say.
Oh, God.
And it happens all over the place. And I walked into a studio once and saw that, and I remember thinking, well, that's super foreign to me. You mean, don't you know what you're going to say? It's good to have notes and write this, even to write your own script. But the fact that somebody else was handing you something to say just seemed like... it just didn't it didn't vibe with me.
Seems almost like an antithesis to what you're doing, right?
What I want about. Yeah, because I grew up listening to radio in the 70s and 80s, right, where you were expected to have something to say, and the something you said, the something to say had to be meaningful, or it had to be absolutely mental. And that worked too, right? If you were going to be way over the line, way dangerous or whatever, cool, but be you. And what I never liked and I never respected was the robot radio.
That's we're back. Like that kind of shit.
If you're going to be that person, then just be out of your mind. Yeah. I can respect that. But I didn't like that WNBC, that stuff that Pigface and
Howard up after the break. That kind of shit.
It just was my thing. It's like, what are you about? Why are you on the radio?
You sound like people.
Well, in theory, radio and television are the public airwaves. In theory, we license them to companies. Now, that's only partly true because the CRTC is mostly super weak in this country, and they really work on behalf of the broadcasters. But really, they're supposed to work on behalf of us. And so if you were given a microphone, access to a transmitter, well, you better be about something. I'm not saying it's all serious all the time. It doesn't even have to be serious. But you got to connect with people.
Yeah.
And when it became just bullshit commercial broadcasting, good for them. Go make your paper, get your bags. But for me, it was just like, oh, that's not interesting. Like, it's, again, go do your thing, but it's not interesting to me at all. So I kind of went down a different path.
Well, you've always been someone that strikes me as being very genuine, so that makes a lot of sense that wouldn't appeal to you.
For better or for worse, it's helped my career and then it's not helped my career. But I don't really care because my career is not as interesting to me as my life is. Like, do I like where I'm going? Cool. If it works or doesn't work in a career sense, who cares?
Yeah, there's always the next step after that. Yeah.
Most career-based stuff is so based on ego anyway, and I don't want to subscribe to that kind of thing. I want to be in a different world.
Oh, if you were super, one of those types of people that were sort of describing, you wouldn't be here right now. That's for fucking sure.
That's true.
We got like 75 subscribers.
No,
so,
that's okay, man. 75 people who are paying attention to you. Yeah. That's important.
No,
right?
no, yeah. I'm not trying to.
Yeah,
hey, I appreciate you guys, but you know what I'm saying. Like, it's easy to get discouraged with how saturated the market is for this kind of thing. How many podcasts are there? How many YouTube?
There's a reason why I haven't done a podcast. There's a reason why I haven't done one. Even when we started kicking around early podcasts before podcasts had even taken off, and I just thought, no, you know what? I don't really. Now we have 3 that are ready to go, but they're very different, and I was waiting for the right kind of thing.
Well, you also have a radio show, so your need for a podcast is somewhat diminished.
I had a TV show. I do live streams. Like, I have a different kind of experience for sure, but. The thing about the podcast, though, which I think is interesting, it doesn't matter how many there are out there. Just do the thing for you, and who cares who listens?
And that's where the real joy for me for this has been coming from. Besides being able to spend more time with my dad, and
Which
really
is super cool.
It's been an amazing experience for us to be able to just be on the same page and creating something together.
Yeah.
But just being able to do my own thing and kind of call the shots and bring on whoever I want. I don't care if it's George Stroumboulopoulos or the janitor. If you've got everyone has a fucking story. Everyone's got something you can learn and share, and
100%.